YouTube? It's TyBrezzy, and today we reacted to Mr. Beast finalists confront Mr. Beast. And I bet before I even watch this shit, they try to make Dino look like a bad guy, and I bet it's one of them black girls too. Stupid bitches.
Beast Games is not a normal show.
JC was greedy to take the 650.
No, don't tell them what they want to hear. Tell them the truth.
Yes, the juicy stuff.
So this is not going to be a normal reunion.
Dino, I'd like your attention right now. Dino is a 60-year-old white man from Hollywood. He instinctively chose jazz because he thought that black women were friends.
We have a little twist.
Well. Yeah, maybe it was selfish, but I have a lot of support on Reddit and so forth.
We're going to talk about the beef.
All bets are off. I'm playing me
I knew it.
against 9. Period.
Calm down. We're getting a little too rowdy up here.
We're going to talk about the drama. The Habibi brothers. Would you guys change anything about?
Absolutely not.
You know we're putting this on the internet. Okay.
Some surprises. I got a hard-hitting question for you.
Oh, God.
You got it 89% from the fans, 13% from the critics. Why the difference?
I don't know if we have to keep opening these wounds.
What changes did you make if you were the owner of TikTok?
Uh,
I'm your host, John Ushai. One thing that we learned about you afterwards is that you're a professional poker player.
They believed it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great.
Did you tell your husband right after the show ended that you turned down $1 million 3 times?
In that moment, I knew like it was over, and I felt like I let a lot of people down.
I feel like I let a lot of people down. Shut your bitch ass up, nigga.
Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell because we have so many big videos coming up. More interviews, more studio tours, more video breakdowns. So hit that button so you don't miss it. And now, back to the video.
So let's kick it off. Can we see your bank account? I'm kidding.
Jimmy actually shared a screen. Can I say this?
Yeah. I showed him a screenshot before we came up of us sending him the money.
And I got a screenshot of it.
And you got it. Speaking of that, okay, now that we got the top 10 here, we prepared a little graphic taking a look at how much each of you have made while you're on the show.
Oh, God. Wait.
Patrick, 0.
She made 50 cents more than Patrick.
All right, I spoke with all of you before this in preparation, sent out some surveys. One of the questions I asked was there anyone who you thought did not deserve the money they won?
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Jump right into it, why don't you?
6 of you said JC.
Whoa.
Why?
Because 650,000 is absolutely greedy.
Oh.
Can you elaborate? Why? I mean, JC has a family. He talked about trying to pay off his debt, taking care of his kids.
You don't mention one number and then take more than that and then say, I'm justified in taking that. It's not how that should go.
JC, do you want to respond?
Oh, we're jumping right into it.
I'll wait for my turn. I didn't think it was going to get this hot this quick.
We're getting into it.
But I'll wait for my turn to respond. I have a reason for why I did what I did.
Isn't this your turn right now, though?
Yeah, it's your go for it.
Like go.
No, because you weren't in my shoes. You can say, I would not have done this if I was...
Ryan too damn cool. He pissed me off. He too damn cool. Yeah. Cool ass nigga. This shit a fucking chore. Not as bad as him, bitch. What the fuck?
You were not in my shoes. Trust was already broken. Game on. I'm taking the money. You know what? I said it before and I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to say it loud for the people in the back. I will never, ever, ever choose any of them before my family. Period. Period.
Wow. It's a good reunion.
Oh.
We're having fun.
Wow, I did not expect it to get that heated that soon.
I was gonna say I was very nice.
Yeah.
I don't know about heated. It could have got spicy, but I'm lukewarm right now.
Let's make it a little. Well, we got some clips. Let's make it a little bit spicier.
Oh God.
In the middle of the city is $1 million.
This million is up for grabs in the next challenge. Starting with the player in house 1, you'll each come out of your house one at a time to take as much or as little of the $1 million as you'd like.
I didn't expect that at all.
Really?
Yeah. This is guaranteed money.
This is your money.
I would pay off my mortgage and my debt.
How much debt?
A lot.
Do you feel comfortable sharing?
With mortgage, credit cards, loans, I probably owe about $530.
Whoa, you can take exactly what you need to pay off all your debt.
JC, I trust more than anyone here because he was in my red cube box challenge with me.
In such a short amount of time, I've grown to love you guys like if you were my daughters. Until you said I want to take care of you, but I don't know what to do right now.
And he said he'd take me to the top, and now I'm number 4. So yeah, I don't see them sabotaging me whatsoever. I trust every one of them.
I know I'm gonna have a target on my back, but I'm not guaranteed the $5 million either. I want to leave something for Emma.
So what do you think in 566? How much are you taking for yourself?
I'm gonna take $650.
Whoa! Okay.
JC, I trust more than anyone here.
Emma, I wanted to give you the floor because you said something beforehand. You said, I would have not have trusted people so easily, and I would have played more for myself.
Yes. I mean, being at my age 22, I feel like there's still a lot of learning I have to do, and I do need to trust myself more than anyone in this game. And I feel like that was my first big betrayal in my life, so it's very shocking to me.
In her life is
However,
crazy.
Looking back, yes, initially I was very hurt, but as I've had time to think about it, I realized he did what he had to do for his family. This is a show to earn money, and I can't be mad at that, even though it did hurt my feelings. And I have forgiven you as a person, but I will never forget the situation.
I get it. That's incredibly mature. That's incredibly mature.
Shit, I done robbed that nigga there.
I want to share what led up to that point. Prior to that happening, Tawana comes up to me and says, hey, JC, you are trusting the wrong people. What do you mean? Jeff, Patrick, and Gage, they want you out. They are coming for you. Impossible. These are 3 people that I trust the most aside from Emma. Impossible.
Impossible.
Player comes up.
Fucking
we
sassy.
separate. Jimmy, hey guys, game on. Nobody talk to each other. Right? We go into our bunkers, and then it hit. Earlier that afternoon, before our family arrived, I walked over to Patrick's bunk, and as I approach the steps, I hear laughter and talking, and I knock on the door. Complete silence. I knock again, I hear scattering. I open the door. I see Tawana running out the back.
Ooh.
I see the boys standing there, pale face, talking over each other. Nothing makes sense. The first thing I said is, what's going on? That's the very first thing I said because it didn't make sense to me. Patrick decides to say, oh, she just got spooked. Spooked about what? It didn't make sense to me. So when I sat, when I sat in my bunk, and I was in my own thoughts, and I said, okay, Tawana's not lying. It all synced back to that moment. I felt betrayed. I felt let down. I felt angry because I let my guard
I
down.
felt angry.
And I trusted people that I thought I could trust. Shame on me. And at that point, I decided it's game on. All bets are off. I'm playing me against 9. Done.
Wow.
Okay.
And I want to say, till this day, and I'm going to call them out because I have to. Till this day, because that's what I do. I'm dramatic.
You're gay.
It's in my DNA.
He's gay.
Till this day, they do not remember anything about that conversation. They don't remember, no, we didn't say that. For misleading me, for misunderstanding what they said. Take that somewhere else, man.
Take that somewhere else, man.
All right.
All right. I'm glad we're getting these other perspectives out there. There's a lot of people who you named there. Tawana, do you want to respond? Anybody else want to respond to that?
I mean, he took a very long time to say the same thing he already said.
Yo.
Okay,
This fact shit.
Switch
Shut
topics a bit.
fuck up.
Mike,
Yeah.
you're not getting off the hook here, man.
That's true.
Hey, no
You're not getting
worries.
off the
No
hook here.
worries.
It's right before the Tower Challenge. Took a little bit more than his fair share of money. If we could play the clip.
It is finally your turn. You can take 100 grand, like 830 did.
I have a specific number in my head. I'm gonna go with 223,000 because it's my birthday. How crazy is that? It's just nuts to look at it, you know.
Happy early birthday.
Hey,
Happy early birthday.
what's the problem?
Would you make that same decision again?
Yes.
I would, yeah. When I have the chance to get some money and not kick anybody out is great, you know. Let's go. Let's play a game.
I don't know if we have to keep opening these wounds.
Yeah. Did you expect this to play out like these scenarios when you, Tyler, Clifton were planning out these challenges? Because it's just
That one in
fascinating.
particular, I had no idea. I mean, if you would have asked me before we started filming, I would have said the first person's just going to take the million, and then. But on set, I had no idea what was going to happen.
I wanted to freeze frame on a moment that you could see so much emotion in this person's face. If we could play the moment that Tawana, you realized that Jeff won the 10 million.
That 10 million cash is represented on a check in that 6 briefcase.
I think 6 briefcase has the check.
Is there anything you want to say to that?
It's your pick.
You had played so hard that entire game. When he said briefcase 6, which had the $10 million in it, what was going through your head?
Sorry.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch. Fucking bitch in the crowd. We love you. So who are you, nigga? Shut the fuck up. Who are you?
I honestly felt like in that moment, I knew like it was over, and I felt like I let a lot of people down.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't about the money for me, but I felt like in the beginning of the games, I didn't have any idea about the money. Like I didn't think about the money. It was just, I want to get to the end of these games. And then as I got closer, I was like, oh, I can really, like, this can happen. I can make a difference. And then when he got the first briefcase, I was like, oh, I let Jimmy down. I ruined the game. And then like, I was like, I let the kids down. Like I let everyone down. And then there was a moment where you see me smile because I was happy. I really was happy for you. And it was just so much, like after being through so much, it was bittersweet. Like I felt like I let people down, but I was so happy that you were gonna do so much good. So it was just a good time. So happy for you.
Couldn't have been me, nigga. I would have been, man, I was mad as fuck when he picked that bitch. But, bro, I should whoop his ass right now.
Why'd you pick the number 6?
I was just trying not to signal anything. Like my heart was pumping so hard.
Did you pick up on any of those cues from her?
Yeah, I told Tawana this earlier. It didn't matter.
Really?
I had already picked 6 when we were up top, looking down at the briefcases.
Interesting.
The six was talking to me for days.
Really? Wait, tell us more about that. Like,
so first, when you think about the money grab, Patrick picks 5, and he gives me key number 6.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh wow,
I'm now in bunk 6. We spent the whole day in 6 before.
Oh.
There's a prayer I say a couple times a day that has 6 words in the first verse. Then we go to the top 6, and then I don't know if there's a clip here, but you're talking to us about it. So I'm already going, it's 6.
Really?
Then you spin it, you put your hand down.
Uh-huh.
Do you know which one you put it on?
No. 6, really?
Then you spun it again.
This is before she mixed them.
This is before she mixed them.
Yeah, to be clear.
You spun it again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was in front of me or in front of you. It said 6. I'm like, oh.
Oh my gosh.
It's 6. So a lot of what I did was a little bit performative.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was going 6, but I also wanted to see what she was responding.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, you put the 3 briefcases on the top. Was that was there a rule?
No, she could do whatever. It just had to be on the thing.
Okay, because I was like, so in my mind, having to choose out of 10 briefcases would have, made your odds better. Why did you leave those out?
Those were still in play.
Yeah, he could pick from up there.
Those were still in play.
Okay, gotcha.
Like if she wanted to, she could have
was the
stacked all 10
confusion.
up there, and then he just grabbed one of them.
But honestly, when you're in that situation, your nerves are just going a million in your brain. You can't think straight, and you're just reacting, just moving. And looking back now, I know what I should have done, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like it was always meant to be the way it was gonna be.
I was worried he was gonna hear you moving them because you didn't move too many.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh.
What did you think when they picked it on the first time? Because I remember before we were talking about like what's the ideal case scenario. You're like, oh man, I hope it goes 3, 4, 5 rounds.
Yeah. Well,
How many rounds do you think it'll go?
Oh, but I'll put the first briefcase. There it is.
Ideally, it's not the first round. I mean, there's a 10% chance. Round 1 would be brutal. The fans would be pissed because one of you wouldn't even get a chance. Yeah, a 4 would be awesome. Man, if we went like 5 or 6 deep, that would be crazy.
I didn't think it would be the first one. I mean, obviously it's a 90% chance it wouldn't. I was flabbergasted. But I think it worked out well because like you guys had that like tension where he was like, what'd you say? And it built up really well. I mean, it would have been very brutal if she was just put it there and he's just like 6, then I would, but they gave us plenty to work with, so I don't think it mattered. Like it still turned out really good, and we had like a really solid build-up. So yeah, I actually think it worked out well because it might have got a little repetitive if it went too long.
And I mean, and obviously everybody knows Tawana. Like she is intimidating. She's got.
So intimidating.
So like, so
Is
for
that
me.
supposed to be intimidating?
Oh, I trust me. Like from the get when I walked by you when you were kind of talking to Gage with the coin flip, I'm like, if there's any chance I win, I need you to see a side of me that you've never seen. So it was like, I need to try to get in your head somehow, and you kind of spit it right back at me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not going well.
It was. It caught me. It did catch me off guard.
Dark
I
Jeff.
was like, yeah. I was like, where is this coming?
Same. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I was trying to like make jokes on set to like bring the energy down a little bit. I was like, damn.
Tawana, I just want to say, you said you let people, you let nobody down. Nobody.
Oh my God. Get off of her dick, nigga. This is the 3rd comment already. Fucking glazing. Stop the glaze. I won't have it anymore. I won't.
I mean, Tawana, I give you a lot of props for saying no to $1 million 3 times.
Bro, hop off. Hop off. Please. Hop off.
And I've met your husband. You talked so much about your children. Like, was that conversation hard coming home?
I think after all is said and done, there's always the woulda, shoulda, couldas. The first 2, 1,000,000% no. Like, I don't regret that at all. My family understands why I did it, and they don't. they don't like question why I didn't take the money.
Couldn't have been my relative. I've been called y'all all type of stupid bitches.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are like,
Stupid.
oh, you're stupid. I would have taken it.
Yeah.
But the first
Stupid
time,
ass nigga.
it would have been sending people home to take the money. The second time we talked and we said, hey, there's enough for everybody. Let's just do this is kind of a side quest on the whole game. Let's all get something, and then we can move forward for the final goal. The last one is quarterbacking. You know, it's what's we call it, Monday morning quarterbacking. You know, like I may not have gotten the win at the end, but I'm still going to keep fighting for what I want and what I believe in. I'm still going to get my nonprofit off the ground. It's just going to be in a different way.
Did you tell your husband right after the show ended that you turned down $1 million 3 times, or did you build up to it over time?
No, I ripped that Band-Aid off right away.
Right away? Hey, missed you. By the way, I rejected $1 million 3 times.
By the way, yeah, coming home without the $1 million. But I mean, for myself, how do you live with yourself? How do you live with yourself when you look people in the eyes and say, hey, I won't do this. This is the plan. And you just stick to it. That's all.
Okay, another question we asked you guys is, how do you feel you came across in the final edits of the episode?
Ooh. Dude. I haven't talked to any of them about this.
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most accurate, 1 being the least accurate, 6 of you basically said you were happy with it. 4 of you said you wish you would have come across better.
Whoa.
Okay. And I'm wondering, is there anything you want to express or elaborate on to the millions of viewers who may not seen a side of you?
Tens of millions.
Tens of millions. That may have not seen the side of you on camera that came out on the show.
I do want to clear something. For everyone's info, me and Yessie are good.
We're good.
We're totally
We're
fine.
good.
Let's go.
We're good.
I never flat out said I was lying to her. That did not happen. Everyone knows my
What did you say?
See, depending on where you throw is where I'm gonna throw.
Whoa! So you're saying you'll only throw at 947 if she throws at you first?
Yeah, of course.
Whoa, she went for 831 instead of 937.
That was good.
Wait. But you still threw at her.
That's crazy.
37 just did the exact opposite.
You fucking lied, bitch.
I just remember on set going, whoa, that's not what she said. But
yeah, if I remember correctly, I said that, and then a couple rounds later is when we were targeting each other, and then that's when Yessie got me out.
Is Mac here? Mac doing some deceptive editing?
I want to know. But Yessie and I are good. I would never flat out lie to Yessie.
We're good.
I just want to say that.
I do. Courtney, hey dude.
Hey dude. How's it going?
Yeah, I feel like you were so authentic in the way that you were portrayed, and nothing fazed you.
100%. Yeah, props to the editors and Mac and you guys for creating all this, but absolutely represented me exactly how I am, and you know, working with God and how I want the world to see me, and also maybe take some notes from how to act in some situations, exactly how I wanted it to be.
Do you wish when they started throwing at you, that you tried to get them all to gang up on someone else on the ball challenge?
Yes, my biggest regret is not teaming up with the girls and going towards,
Because we had a conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a conversation of alliance.
Yeah, I would change that for sure.
Before the finale?
So if I remember correctly, we had a conversation, and I initiated it first. I said, do you guys want to be an alliance? And Yessie said yes. And Courtney was unsure, which, we didn't know what we were doing.
Dang.
So we had no idea. But we all could have done an alliance. It's not Courtney's fault, but
So you could have had half the people teamed up.
So we just all went for ourselves instead. But
interesting.
The
and maybe you
tides
guys would have got Jeff out.
Yeah. Who knows?
Those
Yeah.
game alliances.
A lot of what if.
Gage, you're being awfully quiet over there, Mr. 10 million coin flip.
I know, right? I was portrayed as a very, mellow, subdued, under the radar, quiet person.
This is a perfect metaphor for how you played the game.
Yeah.
Just let everybody else duke it out.
I mean, a little bit. I felt like, I had some great interactions with all of you guys and everyone, and I feel like they didn't portray me in the lighthearted kind of goofy way that I would have liked. A lot of it was very serious. I was on the bleachers all alone, looking out in the distance as you're the quiet one. But yeah, I was okay with it.
how did you get the balls to decide to do that coin flip?
Yes.
Like, but you would have been eliminated. Like, coming that
Did you
far.
think there was going to be an advantage, or tell us what was going through your head?
Part of it was I thought there might have been an advantage there. That was one aspect. There were several aspects in my thought process. I thought that I kind of needed to redeem myself a little bit after the last game, having to, pretty much backstab 3 people and tell them that I was going to vote for them and then not vote for them. So maybe get back in like the good graces a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
So you felt obligated to risk your spot to make everyone like you again.
For sure, and also like as I was portrayed like by everyone else as well. So I felt really bad about that. And then I just thought it would be so cool. I thought it'd be so cool to just if
it was.
If I could pull it off.
Yeah, could you imagine if you had lost though? You would have replayed that in your head every night forever.
I would have.
You would have been like, would I have won the $5 million?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Would anybody else have done the coin toss? If Gage didn't step
Would you
up?
have?
Tawana,
I
you
was
got.
really thinking about it. Like I was really.
No, but
thinking
be
about it.
honest.
No, be honest. I felt you were egging him on.
No,
then,
for real. Like I was like, ask everybody. Like I was really like, I was like, let me feel it. Let me just. And as I'm feeling the vibrations of the coin, a hand just snatches up under me, and I'm like, oh well, he's got it. Okay.
But if he didn't touch it, you would have done it.
I don't know if I would have done it. Like I was like really like tossing it in my head, but I was really thinking about it.
Jeff, was there a world where you
No.
ever would have done it?
No, but I looked at Gage right away, and I saw Gage in a way I've never seen him. And I'm like,
Really?
oh, he's doing it. Like 100% he's doing it. I just want to make him feel good about it.
You did make him feel good. You're like, never in mankind, Gage. Never in mankind.
No, but
and then Gage is like, never in mankind.
First ever. I mean,
Yeah.
Guinness Book.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's right.
He made you rich.
Made you rich.
Richer.
Richer. Yessie, that memory challenge.
I don't even remember.
Do you think about that pattern?
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Still, I
know
could
in my
imagine you walking
heart.
down the street. You know, just.
Dude,
What's crazy is he even told you it was to the left.
You know what? So before we went into that challenge, we were put on ice, which is essentially when we can't speak to anyone. And I had just gotten told, like, hey, watch out for Jeff. So I was already, by Tawana. She had told me, like, hey, like, be careful.
Always
No, but hold on, okay? Like, Jeff and Gage are in alliance, and I kind of thought Tawana was in there, but then she wasn't really in the alliance because she was just cool with everyone. So I was already like, dang, Jeff wants to take me out? I was like, but why? I was like, oh, because this is a game. I was like, oh, why am I so dumb?
If you made it across, who would you have eliminated?
You know, after thinking about it, I do think it was going to be Gage. I'm sorry, Gage. So in the tower, you lied to me, buddy. I helped you and you lied to me. So I was like, Gage. And then
I don't remember that actually lying to you specifically and with the intent.
He's like, I just kind of lied. It wasn't like a serious lie.
I think it was misinterpreted because my intention was to say that I didn't.
You were just one of the 3 people he thought he could vote for.
No, in that moment, that's just like what I had remembered. And after that, like during the ball toss, you never looked at me or you never said anything to me. Whereas Jeff, he told me immediately straight up, like, hey, you know what, this was just part of my strategy. Like, I'm sorry, no hard feelings. And I respected that, you know, like immediately. And of course, Tawana had just helped me out in the tower. So Jeff helping me out with the pattern, I was already like, all right, he's good. But in that last moment when Jeff told me to scoot over one right, he like touched his beautiful, beautiful hair. And I was like, oh man, Jeff doesn't know either. I'm cooked. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna bet on myself because that's a decision I'm never gonna regret, you know? Every single time, if I lose by betting on myself, I'm proud of that decision.
Wow, give it up. That's a beautiful statement.
And so if you did make it across, it would have been Gage, and then would you have taken the $1 million?
Oh, absolutely, dude. You would have shown the money.
So it would have been. It
So
would have been the same
fast.
outcome. She just would have got the $1 million instead of Gage.
Yeah. No, I would have never like taken this away for. I mean, Jeff, I know your family. We had just met them before.
that $1 million bribe, and then with Tawana, we essentially had the same dream, building a shelter. You know, we grew up similarly, so I couldn't take that away from them.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Yessie. Patrick, you are awfully quiet over there, man.
You haven't asked me a question
I'm
yet.
about to right now. So I had a lot of time to spend with these guys on set, and every time I would see Patrick, he would tell me these rules of Beast games that he would come up with. And I want to play a clip that we prepared that people didn't see on the show of me asking Patrick about a few of those rules and him getting a little cocky.
Oh, Puppet Master Patrick.
Puppet Master Patrick. Rule number 1, listen to clits. Rule number 2, ask questions. Rule number 3, trust your friends. And rule number 4, don't take Jimmy's bait. And since looks like 4 people are getting out tonight, that's all I'm gonna give you.
Wait, there's more rules.
Oh yeah, there's 10. The top 10 rules of Beast Games.
What's rule number 5?
Rule number 5 of Beast Games?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll have to tell you when I see you tomorrow after I make it.
Did you see him tomorrow?
No. Tell us a bit more about your rules of Beast Games and just some of the psychology. Like, you were breaking down every little detail.
You know, for years, I always wanted to do this show called Survivor, and it was just a dream of mine growing up, and it was something I wanted to do to help my parents out. And then we heard about this show called Beast Games, and I had tried to maybe like apply to be in one of their videos, and that was always the goal, is to help my parents out with the money I got. And so for 3 years, I didn't take a vacation at my job, just for the chance that I would maybe get some opportunity, like a different show. Or
Like saving up PTO so you could take time off?
Literally, yeah. So like my family would be like, hey, we're going on a vacation, or we're going to like go have dinner or do this in this other city. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go study this video. Like, I'm trying to figure out challenges. And so anyway, long story short, I get into the show, and one of the things which I love when people make fun of, like, I love being butt of the joke, but I really stood by don't take Jimmy's bait, and here's why. We got screwed in cubes. What they don't show is that we had a rest day before the cubes. In episode 3 in cubes, before that we had a rest day. And then we had like a dance party that night that they don't show that was so fun.
Dang.
Epic. And so I'm like, my friend comes up to me, he's like, you're having fun, but like you look a little pensive. And I'm like, I don't know, man, I got a bad feeling Jimmy's gonna screw us tomorrow. And it was Brennan, shout out 7-Eleven. And so it's like 3 a.m. And so for like 40 minutes, I just like tell him some theories, and he tells me what he thinks. And so the next day, we do a sack race. Seems like it's gonna be fun, right? And I'm like, oh, dang, I got it wrong, okay. And then right after sack races, I look up, because me, Brennan, and Matt are right in front of the cube. Jimmy's above us, and he's like, guards, handcuff them. And I'm like, oh my God, we're screwed. And so I really had my guard up for Jimmy, you know, having some kind of trick on us in a challenge. And so when it came to episode 8,
Do you
$1
know-
million bribe, I thought, all right, well, I'm just gonna take 0. You know, it's either an advantage or a disadvantage. I wanna make a bold play that I can be proud of and stand by. And so I decided I'm gonna take $0, and it's either gonna be awesome and I'll have an advantage in the next challenge. Maybe you have to carry the weight of your money. Maybe it's some advantage just in that challenge in some way. Or it's gonna be this big disadvantage where you don't have any buying power for a vote, or you don't have the money you need to accomplish the goal in that challenge.
I have something I wanted to ask. When I watch it, so if JC actually did end up sending you guys money to vote for him, would you guys have? Like, so if he sent you like 50 grand, you wouldn't have voted for him? Would you have, Pat?
I thought about it a lot, and we talked on the 6th round, and I told him I would vote for him, but I was obviously so mad, like a lot of the rounds.
No. Let's talk real talk.
Okay. Real talk?
Don't tell them what they want to hear. Tell them the truth. You guys all met before and said, we are in agreement. It is a witch hunt. Nobody here
Bro, this gay dude is killing me,
going to
man.
vote for JC or Michael.
Really?
And they were all in agreement. We're not going to take bribes from them. We are not going to vote for them. That is what Courtney told me, and I believe it because this is the most honest person in the whole entire
And so that's
game.
why you didn't even try to send money to any of them?
No.
Yeah.
So they set the precedence.
I do want to keep it moving because there's another person that a lot of you guys turned on.
Dino.
The episode that people talked about all across social media was the trolley problem episode.
Dino.
Versus best friends, loyalty, betrayal.
Our boy Dino?
Would you guys change how you treated Dino and how he was eliminated after he said no to $1 million and saved a lot of you guys on this stage? Because social media has a different take on that episode.
I'll say I don't understand why people were getting mad at Dino that he picked
Okay.
Jazz. He just had to do what he thought was strategic.
Thank you.
So still to this day, I don't understand.
Bro, this fat black bitch in the background.
Yeah, I do. I don't know.
Here, let
I know
Queen take it
you're
away.
the sweetheart, and I understand your position, but I
Sweetheart.
really want to speak on this because I feel like out of the top 10, I'm really the only one that can. And what I want to say is that Jazz is the individual that was under the radar, completely, just a solid player. She is the Black Emma in our position, right? And coming from a black girl, right? So Dino, I'd like your attention right now because this is going to be the only moment that you're really going to get this.
Whoa.
Dino, and
Yo.
question, I
Fucking
can't
bitch.
change what I did. I ragged on him, and I ragged on him hard. Because
You're a
Dino
fucking
is
bitch.
A 60-year-old white man from Hollywood. He instinctively chose Jazz because he thought that black women were friends. But let me just say this. At no point in the game was there a major camaraderie with the black women playing in Beast games. We played based on who we were. I'm very different from Tawana. Tawana's very different from Jazz. Jazz is very different from Mo. Mo is very different from Mia. Me and Mia come from the same the same state, city, different places. I'm from the county more, so she's the city. But it's like we come from the same place, but we're totally different. And so the thing that I want America to understand is when I said that no one is going to respect you, I wasn't talking about the world. I was talking about the players because when I
Who cares?
have
Shut
these
your
individual
fat
one-on-one
ass up,
conversations with
stupid
everyone,
bitch.
They've all said,
Yo, this
yeah,
bitch is
it was
pissing me
obvious
off.
because we all know what the relationships were like in the game. The relationships in the game were a part of the strategy, and I understand why he used it. I'm not faulting him in this moment.
Please let him get on stage. Oh my God, I wish I was there. I would have cooked this fat
It's not something that I
bitch.
feel like he was intentionally racist, trying to accomplish that goal. No, by no means. However, I want the honesty of knowing that you chose that. It's no different than if it was 9 black people and 1 white, or 8 black people and 2 white people sitting up here, and then it's like, oh, the black people are going to just choose the white. Like, it would have been the same thing. So I just want the honesty in that. I want the world to understand that it wasn't a direct blow to him and his character as an individual, but it was definitely to bring awareness in the fact that we do have things that we've inherited from what we've culturally come from. You know what I mean? And that was a diversity that I felt like the show touched on in many other ways, but I wanted to make sure that I spoke on that because I love Jazz and I felt like she deserved that respect that was not mentioned.
There's so much.
I'm getting pissed. I hate this bitch. Yo, this shit's pissed me off. I need to see what people saying about this Queen Beast games.
Much to unpack there, and we have a little twist. Obviously, this couch here isn't empty for a reason.
Is Dino coming up?
So we thought we'd invite up Dino to this.
Dino!
All right. Well, this a lot to unpack there. Have a seat. So Dino, what's your thoughts on that?
Please cook a fat ass.
Well. So, yeah, when it came down to the train situation there, basically Queen and I, she gave me a pound. She said she's stepping down. Completely supported that. She steps down, and then lo and behold, Jimmy with his twists, he says, "Oh, by the way, whoever steps down is automatically immune and going to the top 10." And I'm like,
okay,
oh my gosh.
let me
I looked
step
back and
down
had
too.
4, possibly 5 people that I thought, without a doubt, I'm going to have the support, especially helping them out when I turn down the $1 million.
Yep.
And so I go, this is a no-brainer. I step down. Lo and behold, then, Tawana steps down, of course, as well. As you called everybody out, they supported Tawana.
Mhm.
And I just said, hey, no good deed goes unpunished, and we moved on. So,
Yeah.
And then once all that took place, and then it came down to, Tawana asked me to step on the tracks. I was on the tracks. And when I was asked to pick someone to join me, I looked back, and everyone, in my mind, everybody was scrambling, hiding behind each other. JC stood straight, and he stood in his spot. And then Jazz was standing next to JC, but everybody else was scrambling behind. And it says, come on, like, you've got to pick somebody. You got to pick somebody. And in my eyes, I looked at JC, and I knowing he has his 2 boys, relating to those to my 2 grandsons, and thought, okay, I'm going to leave JC. And I looked over, and I felt a bit rushed, and I selected Jazz. And yeah, maybe it was selfish, but I have a lot of support on Reddit and so forth. It was a decision I had to make. And so anyway, hey, the decision's been made, folks.
Nobody's calling you selfish.
Hey,
Nobody's calling him racist.
I didn't grow up in Hollywood. I grew up in Linwood, California. I grew up with black and Mexicans, and that's my neighborhood. So, right?
Yeah, cook that fat bitch. Fucking bitch.
No, black and Mexican.
And also, a lot of people don't know this, but Dino, you fought in the fires in LA, and we're on the front lines helping put that out. So I want to say thank you as well.
Yeah, fucking fat bitch.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, man. Give it up for Dino.
Thank you.
All right, another big
Nah,
moment.
they should let him talk more. He should have been. Oh, it could not have been me. I swear to Jesus, I would have been cooking. Cook! Leo, I would have been cooking. I would have been cooking that fat bitch. Fucking pissed me off. I'm finna get mad, Leo. Fuck. Bitch.
Moment from that trolley episode was Akira and Mia.
Oh, God.
Both of whom are here today, and I wanted to invite them on stage. So give it up for Akira and Mia.
Okay.
Bro, I swear, bro. You gonna piss me off, bro.
How's your island?
Well.
Okay. By the way, did you keep the island, or did you give the cat? When you give away islands, which
We gave her the option. I mean, you can answer it.
They gave me the option to keep it or to exchange it for the monetary value,
And she chose to keep it, right?
No. No, hell no.
What do you think I did? No, I mean, I really did want to own some property there, but it just in my best interest with everything being uninhabited, I chose the cash value.
Plus, if she chose to keep the island, she would have had to pay taxes on it, which would have been crazy. So, I mean, it's the logical thing to do, to take the money.
Do you remember what you said to Akira on the trolley problem episode?
Seemed like it's all black females. What did that tell you?
I didn't think I could win this $5 million, but I'm here to help somebody else win it. The only way to do that. Oh! Played a great game. Here it comes. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of the game that you played. You deserve better.
I can't hear you. I don't want to hear you. We good. We scared to compete against a woman.
I don't think there's any
Point blank, period. And you about to be next on the plane with me. I scared the cat.
Do you
Some nice lights up here.
I'm just curious, as you guys reflect outside of the heat of the moment, are there things you would have done or said differently?
Well, I know that a lot of times when you're playing the game, it's like, honestly, you forget well, I forgot the cameras were there. So it was just an honest response. And like people see the snarkiness of me, but I was quiet a lot of times to the game. So I observed a lot of people. The cameras show me have a lot of expressions and talk a lot, but most people that actually know me, they didn't know me until that ending part of the top 60 or top 20. That was when they actually found out who I was. So I got a chance to sit on a bus with people from New York to Ontario, Canada. And through that time, I got a chance to see how people interacted with certain people and chose not to interact with others. So the energies were there to get to know people. It's just the people that they got to know were probably the people that looked like them and they went to school with and was familiar. So all I would have to say from that episode, it was what it was. I do respect the way Akira approached this conversation. I will say, however, that a lot of times I feel as though, to me, eliminating me was one thing, but to eliminate two other people that didn't even have a chance to even get to be known or have a conversation or even get to the top, to me was just like, it could have been done a little bit better. It could have been mixed up, but it wasn't my decision to make, and I was disobedient in what I was doing, meaning that I, in my spirit, should have went up and competed against Akira, but I was just exhausted mentally from all the things that I went through before that.
Obviously, we didn't know each other very well, and I was very closed off.
Amusing part of
for
the
most of the game. Even in the final 21, I only knew half the people. So, like, going into it, it was very easy to get rid of people I didn't know. I think it would have been much tougher to make some of those decisions if I did have deeper connections. And unfortunately, once we got into the top 60, I did go on vacation, and we never had time to connect. You were fighting for your life out there. Coming back into the city, we went into 2 different challenges. First time we really talked was right after we went back in, top 21. And then, you know, we just never had the chance. So I never got to see your story, and seeing it play out live was really beautiful. And I did feel, you know, I did feel bad that I did end your dream, but also I felt really happy that you did come away with the island and that life-changing money. So I am sorry, but I wouldn't change anything that I did that day.
That's like one of the first apologies of the night.
Oh my God, can you please shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch.
Closure. I mean, what's funny is they won more money than a lot of people over here did.
Okay, probably one of the biggest moments on the show that just sent shockwaves was episode 3, the Cubes.
Ooh.
And especially the Habibi brothers who had this moment.
Two brothers married. Just gave me one going home. They told me this earlier. So I said, fine, if I'm going home, if you can't decide one of the two, then you can come with me. So let's see how they do. I think one of you two should go.
Well, I don't think one of us should. I think one of us 3 should go.
Well, I'm not going unless you
Because here's the
guys
thing.
go.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Right now, your decision is going to result in all 3 of us leaving. That means you're guaranteed to leave.
I'm not gonna break.
And exactly. You stood up for yourself.
And I know you're stubborn. I can tell you're stubborn.
You stood up for yourself.
If I go down, I'm going down together.
You're negotiating your demise.
If
I'm gonna say it one more time. I'm gonna say it one more time. You are negotiating your own demise.
So I don't want to get bullied into it. Like, I don't want you guys to think that I'm like not at all like I'm like whatever if they go out like.
Just be careful. They might cut you out to be a villain.
I know I'm gonna become a villain. I know it.
I'm not playing.
You're not playing?
Draw the card.
What the heck, Hazem?
Draw the card. He's in here. Draw the card.
No. Oh.
Hazem.
He's backing out.
Hazem.
Backing out.
Do you want to go home?
I mean, no one wants to go home, of
No, but
course.
so draw the card.
I was never part of this conversation.
I'll give you guys 10 more seconds, and I'm not going to peer pressure.
All right, guess nobody wants to play the game. Even though she clearly didn't want to play, 20 minutes of non-stop manipulation might have just changed her mind.
We're just gonna say screw it and do it again. He's not gonna participate, but whoever makes it will keep that in their back of their mind moving forward.
So you want to do the card game again?
It's just gonna be us two. Whoever gets
Really?
whoever.
And you're not doing it? All right, the deck is shuffled.
And I had a good chance, and I'm just gonna ruin it. I just wanna It's over with.
3, 2, 1.
Stupid bitch.
They're probably gonna think you're evil, but it worked. You didn't have to play.
So we played. Me and my brother were secretly talking to each other the entire time, and basically she doesn't know that.
Whoa. Whoa.
All right, well.
Hey. Sound like a personal problem, stupid bitch.
There's a lot there. I'm going to invite up the Habibi brothers to ask them a few questions.
Yes. Everyone, simmer down. We're getting a little too rowdy up here. Here's the microphone.
Would you guys change anything?
Absolutely not.
Whoa.
You know we're putting this on the internet.
100%.
Okay, keep going.
So it's played off a little bit, not how it truly happened in there. So first and foremost, Maddie, the player that was in the cubes with us, 225, we were friends from before. She was kind of like in our friend group. So we went in after the sack race, as a lot of people did. We were not the only situation, but we went in with our friends. And before the games even began, she told us, I'm not going to play a game. One of you two has to self-sacrifice for the other.
Before you even explain the rules.
Before the rules were
Before
explained.
the rules were explained, she put 2 and 2 together, and told us that one of you guys get out just because we're brothers.
And we weren't the only situation that happened in the cubes. And I'm sure, as anybody else out there who has a sibling or a family member, if you were put in a situation similar to ours and put in a cube where somebody puts you up between a rock and a hard place, you're going to fight tooth and nail to be able to get out. And it's at that point, it's the person that you trust the most with you. You're going to push as hard as you can to get to that position. So once she said that, prior to, I kind of thought about it in my head, and I said, well, if it comes down to it and I need to self-sacrifice, I'll push my brother to go forward and self-sacrifice. But then she said that, and I said, well, I'm going to go forward and work as hard as I can to be able to get both of us to go through. And if we go home, we go home. I fought what I needed to do, and at that point it was, oh, sorry, you can't hear me.
I thought you were going to hold his hand.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
At that point it was, we're going to do what we need to do, and we're going to work just to play a game at that point, because that's what we're fighting for, just to play a game. And
You know what's interesting is the theme of family I'm sensing from all of you guys, and who is family, whether it's blood or chosen. Actually, if you're wondering why we have an empty seat here, in the audience is just the top 60, but we made an exception.
Yes.
Maddie, come on out.
You can respond firsthand.
Did she have a mic?
it's so good to see you.
Welcome to the reunion.
Wait, is this your guys' first time meeting in person since filming?
Yeah.
I
Meeting
haven't gone
meeting in
crazy.
person, yes. Speaking, no.
Okay.
What do you have to say about what they said about how you came into the challenge before cameras started rolling?
So one thing that I don't think anyone really knows is I actually have a degree in math and economics, but when we realized what the thing was, what the challenge was going to be, I was like, this is a very obvious game theory problem, which is a very common economics situation. So immediately when we got in the cube, I said, hey guys, I have absolutely nothing to gain by sacrificing myself, but you two do. Your brothers, it would, to the naked eye, it's obvious, like, okay, one of them should self-sacrifice for the other, push their brother through. So that's what I did, and I stood my ground for about 2 hours, and then I remembered that I know them, and they're very stubborn people. And economics class is not always real life, because in real life, people are not always textbook rational, and egos exist, and there's a lot of emotions at play. So that obviously didn't work out.
If she didn't handcuff herself, the timer's ticking, 30 seconds left, would one of you have bit the bullet, or would you both have just gone home out of stubbornness?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely not.
So one thing we did talk about, because we had like a little bathroom break before the rules were explained, and she said this before the bathroom break, and so the game's already playing in our head, and we're like, oh my god, like what are we gonna do? And I look to my brother, and I tell him, I'm like, we can't go home, like we can't like go home, or sorry, we can't cuff ourselves. Neither of us. If she doesn't want to, like she didn't want to play fair, then we're all gonna go home and we're gonna stand on principle on
You
that.
can't sacrifice, is what you're saying. We can't
Yeah.
sacrifice
But
ourselves.
if
We're gonna play a
you
game.
flipped over the wrong card, would you have handcuffed yourself?
Oh yeah, at that point we played a game, and it's
Okay.
it's not at that point
Yeah.
it's my time to go. Which I do want to bring something up, and I think this is ironically hilarious. So prior to us drawing, before you even came into our cube, we were trying to establish the rules of the game, and you mentioned that the ace was going to be the lowest card, and if anybody plays any card game or poker at all, ace is the highest. And at that point, I said that's not worth me arguing. I just wanted to play a game, so I didn't say anything. I accepted it, and then at the end, I drew a king and she drew an ace.
Wow.
Yeah.
How aware were you of how social media and the internet would react as you guys were going through this and making decisions? Does anybody have comments
like
on
in
that
the
side?
moment,
Yes.
it wasn't even a thought. Like while we're playing the game, it wasn't a thought because that's an afterthought. We're just focused on trying to get as far as we can in the game.
Yep. Do I have a little bit of time to come up with an answer for that? Because I got to make sure I don't have anything to do. Okay, I'm listening about 5. All right.
So it wasn't, but then afterwards when social media came out and people were hating, we kind of
not to this magnitude of like, oh my god, like, we hate
While
these
she was
people.
crying didn't really help.
Yeah. Yeah. Eating Chipotle or whatever while she's going through her emotions.
Laughing at someone crying.
Not the best outfit.
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're here to create content.
No,
so,
of course. You
yeah.
did a great job with that.
I realized it was kind of interesting though, seeing how like crazy I felt like our cube looked, and then everyone else were like having tea parties and having horses and sushi. I'm like, well, I feel like we used the phone wrong.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming out, speaking your truth. Maddie, thanks so much for joining us as a surprise guest. Give it up one more time. The BB Brothers, Maddie. Thank you. We actually have one final surprise for you all.
As you guys know, our friends at T-Mobile are amazing. Yes. Yes, there we go. Switch the lights. Bring it on up. Come on in, guards.
Bring out the guards.
Yes. Bring out the
We're not done.
Our friends at T-Mobile are huge fans of all of you. The top 10 are all getting a brand new phone, free T-Mobile service,
For how long?
and of course, all those amazing Magenta status travel perks and benefits. I've been with T-Mobile for a while now, and it's clear why they always hook me up. They're literally the best.
That they're huge fans of all of you. They wanted me to say they were inspired by the connection you guys shared, the amazing friendships you built on the show, and they want you to stay connected. Thank you, T-Mobile, for helping us make Beast Games possible. Thank you. Everyone give a round of applause.
All right, and now I'm going to talk to Jimmy for a bit about his honest thoughts of Beast Games, and then we're going to talk to Jeff about how he's going to spend his $10 million. Give it up one more time for the top 10 finalists.
Okay, this is going to be fun.
I want to start off with the finale and play a clip from my behind the scenes right after we ended filming.
How do you top this? Oh, don't you worry. There are plenty of ways to top this.
Crazier than this.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Way better. There's so many things we learned. So many things. I mean, this is great, but yeah. Oh my god. This is great as we see 10 mil and all these world records.
Seems like something I would say.
I couldn't believe you said that after that episode and giving away $10 million. Oh, what was the biggest thing you learned looking back?
Biggest thing I learned looking back, it is a little hard to get to know, like everyone, gets to know like the top 10 and 20, but you don't really know too many people after the first 2 episodes. So to be honest, in the future, I'm probably gonna be way more cutthroat. Like instead of eliminating 500, we should eliminate like 800 at the start to get the numbers down. Just sucks because then most people are gonna show up and instantly get out, but I think that would be better for character building. Well, there's a lot of obvious stuff now that I've watched the show maybe 45 times that I've pieced
45
together.
is crazy.
I think like one of the silliest things is like when we had people take bribes on episode 1, they also got out. When you eliminated everyone to your left and right, And I think it would have been way better if the person
Individual
who didn't
brides.
get out, so then we have like more people, you know, because we build these people up, and then they instantly get out, and they're not in episode 2. Whereas, like, imagine the guy who took the $100,000 bribe was still in episode 2, you know, at the end. That would have been really cool. So, like, there's like, we did that kind of subtly throughout the show. Is like, we'd spend an episode building someone up, and they'd get out, but it would have been better if they stayed in. And so it's a lot of little things like that. That's like hindsight 2020. I also, it is
The self-sacrifices.
I mean, it worked great for the finale, but it's so sad that I don't get to put 10 million in the title. So in hindsight, you know, maybe just make that part of it, because I'm paying 10 million, but 90% of people, you know, just think it's 5 million, which is a little brutal. But the last 2 months are like, people keep coming up to me like, holy shit, you gave away $5 million. I'm like, well, yeah. If only you knew.
Okay, I got a hard-hitting question for you.
Oh, God.
All right. The critics' review of the show is very different than the fan review. On Rotten Tomatoes, you got an 89% from the fans.
Yep. You can just stop there. 89%. What else do we need to talk about?
13% from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes.
From 7 critics, 7, who only watched the first 2 episodes. I agree. Yes.
Why the difference?
I don't know. I mean, we'd have to call them, but I mean, they literally left it within like the reviews within like an hour of the show dropping. So I'm like 99% sure they didn't even watch it. So, but at the end of the day, as long as the people who like the 70 million people that watched the show enjoyed it, like what else matters? So, I mean, coming from YouTube, I'm new to this whole critic thing. I don't know why you need to segment. Oh, these 10 people versus these 10 million people. Like, shouldn't all that matters is that the audience enjoyed it? You know what I mean? So. To me, it doesn't really matter.
Was there any feedback or criticism of the show that you're like, actually, that's a great note?
Oh yeah, tons. You know, maybe a little more skill-based stuff. Just you know. All right. Don't cheer too loud. Okay. Don't get so happy. But yeah, in the future, I definitely want a little less luck in it. I mean, you don't know till you go through it, but it'd feel better if it felt like certain people earned things more instead of like lucking through. I actually really liked when we gave people the option to do chance, you know, skill or whatever. So giving people more of the option. So if it is luck-based, it's like they decided. I think is a much better way of going about it.
There's one night on set when we played Settlers of Catan with the top 10, and
did I win?
Actually, I think you did.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was fascinating to see you as a player, like how strategic you were, how measured you were. And I just wanted to put you in the situation of if you were a contestant on Beast Games.
Yeah.
What would you do in these situations?
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to rapid fire. Ready?
Yeah.
Episode 2, if you were on the tower, would you take the $1 million?
Absolutely.
Of course. It's $1 million. Your odds are better. I don't know. Why'd you guys say no? You could have axed 25% of the players. What are we doing? I'm kidding.
I'm looking at Dino.
Although I'm not. I mean, $1 million plus your odds are better.
You would take the $1 million bribe.
I mean, yeah, it's $1 million.
Even if you promised all the people, you're like, I'm going to go there, say no.
Yes.
Well, you just, you know, ignore that part.
In episode 3, there were the cubes.
Oh, God.
How do you go about getting out of the cube if the 2 people in there with you were Carl and Chandler?
Oh. Wait, Carl and Chandler, you guys in here? Oh, hey. Huh.
I didn't hear what you guys were talking about.
He's asked me how I'd manipulate you in the cube.
If you were in the cube.
If I had to, like, it was me, you, and Chandler?
I would just never get out. I would be the villain for sure.
You'd be the Habibis? I'm kidding. I'd probably try to get him to play me in a board game. Maybe Monopoly, because Monopoly's like chance.
You're calling a board game.
Yeah. Well, I'd probably pull them each aside and be like, let's try to figure out how to team up on the other one and like make our odds better.
Pull each of them aside individually.
Yeah.
Episode 5, would you compete for the island or skip that challenge?
Oh, definitely compete. You're right, because you have 1 in 10 chance of 1.8 million. I'm actually, only 9 people did it, which is surprising because it's, what was it, 1 in 60 at 5 or 1 in 10 at 1.8. I mean, it's just like the EV score is just so much better. I was shocked 10 people didn't even go after it.
Episode 8, the challenge where there's $1 million in the middle and each contestant had to go out one by one and decide.
All million.
So if you went first, if you're in Tawana's position, you would go out and you would take how much?
Yeah, I would take the $1 million and then I'd just give it to him on the towers or something. You know, I mean, they didn't know that at the time, but yeah, you would figure it out. Wow. Then you have all the control. That'd be awesome. I obviously would have played this completely different than you guys, so I probably would have been eliminated. Like.
Yes.
Yeah. How much do you think about that when you go through creating the games with Tyler and Klitzner? Like, how much do you put yourself in the shoes of like what somebody would do?
Oh, obviously every game, but how it played out and how we thought things would play out were two completely different things, which I think is one of the beauty of the show. Is there obviously was a lot more integrity, a lot more camaraderie, and honestly way nicer than we thought in a lot of instances, which just threw off a lot of the equations for some of these games.
Which one in particular comes to mind?
The
well,
tower.
Obviously at the end of episode 2, I mean, I thought for sure someone was going to press it at like 200K, and then it just went up to $1 million. But I mean, it was awesome because that cliffhanger was perfect, and you know, people still like come up to me and they're just like, "There's no shot that's real," and I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you."
In the finale, would you have flipped the coin and risked elimination, but
No.
potentially no?
No, especially because Tawana sounded like she was gonna do it too. That was crazy.
I have to ask about the $10 million coin flip.
I mean, like for months leading up to that. I mean, I know you haven't even asked the question yet, but we were like, yeah, we'll just throw this in there. No one's actually gonna like do it.
Yeah,
like you know, we're like, there's the EV ratio. Like, imagine filming for a month and then just gambling it all on a coin flip that everyone else benefits from. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, talking to you, Carl, like Chandler, like everybody didn't think it was gonna happen.
Oh no, you probably have 1,000 shots of me going, no shot, this is gonna happen. I was like, yeah, we'll probably just cut it out, the show, because like no one's gonna do it and it doesn't make sense. I told Tyler, he's the, you know, for when we post this, like the guy who writes a lot of our stuff, I was like, why are we even doing this? This is just a waste of time. Like, who would actually in their right mind flip this coin?
How do you think about when you add more money on the show? Because I was there with you on set. The Tesla for the train versus Lambo episode, for the trolley problem episode, you guys just stuck another $100,000 in the trunk. Like, I think that was a game time decision.
Yeah.
How do you make those decisions of like, okay, let's add more money, let's add another $5 million. Like, do you ever think about, oh, the return of adding more money, or is it just for fun?
Well, if we thought about the return, we wouldn't, because I don't think I got $5 million out of it, but it was just, no, I mean, these things are pre-planned beforehand, because obviously, because of compliance, I can't like change too much on set, so it's usually just whatever we agreed to going into it, to be honest.
Do you ever worry about raising the bar too high, Jimmy, to the point where like audiences become too desensitized to like what it means to win $10 million on a show? Like that is so above.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of that is if they're desensitized to the money I'm giving away, then I don't know how they'll watch any other game show. So I think that's more of a problem for everyone else, not us.
I thought it was fascinating how in the past week you put out the first 3 episodes of Beast Games for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Why?
Just to get more people hooked, so then they would come over to Amazon and watch the rest. It's been great so far. Like, people are watching it, and it's causing a spike on the show. Because just some people, you know, just wanted to see it before they committed to buying the Prime.
What's been the impact of Beast Games on filming your YouTube content? Like, have you tried to do more challenges like you did in the games? Have you tried to up the production quality? Has there been a change or impact on your YouTube content?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think if you watch the pyramid video we just did, you'll see there's way more cinematic shots. It's way, just everything about it. It's in 4K, which I think that was, like, we're starting to do all our YouTube videos in 4K now. Just, I had a lot of theories like, you know, people prefer YouTube videos that feel a little more amateur. You know, especially because over half of the viewership on YouTube now in America is on television. So we started upping the quality of our cameras because I was like, oh, this show looks great. Now it makes my YouTube channel look like, you know, garbage. So we started bringing in the bigger rigs and using more high quality cameras. And so far the reception on YouTube's been great. So it's way more cinematic, way higher quality content, and I just think even the storytelling and things like that in our content has gotten much better. So I learned a lot. It also helped because we had a lot of traditional people, which is just a lens that I didn't normally learn from. I was around a lot of different people, so like learning from them over the 45 days and then pulling it all over to YouTube was really helpful.
Yeah, especially now I think YouTube just announced that TV is the most watched
Yeah,
surface.
it's over half of U.S. Viewership is now on television for YouTube, which is crazy when you think about it, because it used to just be a phone thing. But as cable's dying, everyone's switching over to YouTube on TV.
I want to ask you also about the change in thinking about story versus spectacle.
Yeah.
I thought it was fascinating. Episode 1, biggest spectacle. 1,000 contestants, 500 people eliminated roughly, trapdoors, pillars, like crazy production. Episode 8, nobody eliminated.
Jeez.
Is basically just people walking in and out of houses.
I want to know what they think. Which do you guys like better? Raise your hand if you like episode 1 better. Raise your hand if you like episode 8 better.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. No one got out in episode 8.
Wow.
Yeah, you know the top 10, and it really built them up and came across better, as opposed to just dropping people like ants constantly. Yeah.
What did that teach you about changes you would make to your content moving forward?
I mean, obviously, we know the objective. Get it where you feel how you feel in episode 8, ideally sooner in like episode 2 or 3. I think at the crux, we just didn't get rid of enough people at the start, so we just got to get the numbers down sooner, and then it'll be much easier. Because, if we have 30 or 40 people, it's not hard. It's just hard when you have 400 and if you're only going to focus on 30, why have 400? So just get the numbers down.
Yeah. How did you try to find stories when it was that many people? Like you had people like asking questions, we
had 150 people editing this, so it was they were shifting through an unfathomable amount of footage. The other thing too is definitely giving our editors more editing time. I mean, we were right up to the deadlines, and then we'd get Amazon to like give us a couple extra.
Throw 'em up, bust 'em up.
Days, and then we'd shave a couple days off dubs, and then we'd film it earlier, so we give the editors like ideally an extra month to like focus on it, because even though we had so many people, it just like there's just way too much footage. Like episode 1 with the 1,100 cameras, it was brutal. But deeper in the show, when there's only 10 people, it's like you can watch everything that was said during that whole day, and so it's much easier to like grab the optimal stuff and put it in.
Yeah. It's so fascinating, Jimmy, to be able to interview you through the years as you go through different life stages and see how that impacts your videos. You recently got engaged.
I did.
Yeah, right.
I did the thing.
Yeah. Tia is here. I don't know where she's
Tia,
at.
are you here?
But shout out to Tia. She was wonderful to have on set. I'm wondering, does being engaged, soon to be married, one day having kids,
Uh-oh.
does that change how you view?
I don't know
It'll
what said
happen
the K
sooner than
word.
you think, man. It'll happen
I don't know where
sooner
you got that from.
Having a family, thinking about all that in the future, does that change how you think about the challenges and the contestants who come on your videos?
No.
That's a deep question. Probably not, no.
Because there's a lot of like family dynamics. Like you look
Yeah.
at like Jeff and Tawana, like you're not just invested in them at that point, it's their families, it's their
Yeah,
kids. It's like,
I mean, those, like, obviously when we brought the families out, like, you don't need to have, like, a wife or kids to understand, like, oh, this hits emotionally and feels good. So I hate to give you a lame answer, but probably not. Love you, Tia, though, if you're here.
it's reported that you've placed a multi-billion-dollar bid on TikTok.
Well, I didn't.
Well,
I'm part of the bid.
A part of the bid. Well, first of all, yeah.
I don't have billions of dollars.
Oh yeah. First of all, I want to ask: is it true? If you could talk about the bid on TikTok, and if you win the bid to buy TikTok, I'm curious, what is your
Beast Talk.
experience being the top YouTuber and now having a streaming show influence in terms of owning a platform? Like, what changes would you make if you were the owner of TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not allowed to say much, especially because this is going to be on the internet. So people until the episode airs. So this episode
today.
Yeah.
I just have to ask, Jimmy, you were telling me, did you wire the $10 million to Jeff today?
Yeah, a lot of you know we don't pay people until the episode airs. So this episode obviously aired at 3 a.m. today. So he just got paid, literally today. Did you ever, were there ever nights where you doubted that it would be real?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
You doubted that the
well,
10
I mean,
mil
it
would
was just
come.
like
it's a lot of money.
This happened 5 months ago, and like my wife's like, I'm like, hey, like, can you believe it? And she goes, it's not in there yet.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what's gonna happen?
That's a good
So,
wife. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe we show the screenshot of it, and because it's crazy to see
Yeah,
that
in
amount.
post they'll throw it up on the reunion. So here it is. I don't know what camera I'm supposed to be looking at, but if you're curious, obviously your information will be blurred. But there's the big 10 mil. So it is paid. As of now, all 20 plus million should have been paid to everyone that's owed. So
it's crazy to see like all this like play out. Jeff, how did you keep it a secret for 5 months? We spoke a few times. Like it's almost like
tell me about that.
Like that must have been the hardest secret to keep. That you won 10 million.
Of course, it's hard, but it's also like what I got to experience, and I think Clit said it when we get down to the final 10. Like, think about everything you've gone through and how fun it was. Like, believe it or not, people who watch it will feel the same thing, and like kind of like hit me like I can't take that away from my mom or my sister, even though they pride me.
They didn't know till today, or
my mom didn't know until this morning.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa. That's crazy. What was her reaction?
I mean, they lost their mind. I mean, and especially as I got further in the game, I was kind of leading them astray. Like, they thought I was for sure going to get eliminated on episode 9 by kind of the way I was acting with them. And then I just said, hey, in the final 6, I'm like, are you kidding me? I got to talk about Lucas 2 episodes in a row. Like, in my book, that's a winner. Like, however the finale works or ends, I consider myself a winner.
Man, I can't believe they didn't know till today. That's insane. It's dedication. That's why it didn't leak, though. I appreciate it.
But what's crazy is because Jack, my 9-year-old, was there at the finale, he hasn't told a soul.
Wow.
Let's go. Shout out to Jack.
Wow, that is not easy.
Crazy.
Jack, you're going to be the coolest person in your school now when you go to school next.
You know, I spoke to a lot of people who came on the show and they sacrificed a lot. People left their jobs, but a lot of them were a bit younger, you know? They could kind of roll the dice and do this last hurrah. You had a family at home. You were in sales. You like had this whole life in San Francisco. How did you make the decision to say, I'm going to potentially not look at my phone for 30 days to risk trying to make this crazy dream happen?
I was at our annual conference for Association for Creatine Efficiencies 2 years ago, and the woman came on stage to give a keynote, and she goes, hey, everybody, I have the silver bullet to how to cure a rare disease. Everybody's on the edge of their seat, and she goes, you need to find a celebrity who has a child with it.
Holy shit.
And so for me, I go, obviously I'm not a celebrity, but I need to figure out how to get a platform and how to get a voice. And so I've kind of toiled with it all the time. Early last year, my 9-year-old, 8-year-old at the time, was like, Dad, I want you to watch this video with me. I want you to watch this video. It was Mr. Beast. And then I see it on a link for application on a billboard, like a casting billboard. And I go, I put it on my whiteboard. I set an alarm on my phone, and the day came. I think it was like May 31st. And so I recorded a video. And I'm like, screw it. I'm doing it.
Wow.
But I didn't tell my wife that I did it until I got in. Because I didn't want her to start planning and freaking out that I'll be gone for 30 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Terry Jo Bichelle who inspired me to kind of go, you got to get out there and get a platform. And I'm forever grateful for being there to hear that.
Wow. And how, so far, have you seen like people talking about it more and the creatine deficiency disorder and everything? Like what?
Oh. It's like I got a DM on Instagram from a mom in Argentina who said she had never heard anybody talk about creatine transport deficiency except her doctor.
Wow.
She thought her kid was the only one in all of Argentina, and she kind of felt like she was a doctor. Who's like I got a DM on Instagram from a mom in Argentina who said she had never heard anybody talk about creatine transport deficiency except her doctor.
Wow.
She thought her kid was the only one in all of Argentina, and she kind of felt like she was finally part of a group and finally heard. And
wow.
Yeah, it's like that's the stuff that that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Dang.
Wow. And to put it in perspective, we were talking on set. How many people in the world have creatine transporter deficiency?
Diagnosed, it's like under 400.
In the entire world?
Yeah, but we think it's underdiagnosed by 100-fold. I think most parents kind of give up because the diagnosis journey can take years to try to really figure out and pinpoint it.
And for people who aren't aware of the effects of this condition, can you just explain it? I know you've said it on the show, but I just want people to have full context.
For sure. Our bodies make creatine naturally, and they travel through the blood to get to the organs and the muscles. And there's a transporter. Lucas's transporter, or kids with CTD, their transporter is broken. So their bodies make the energy, creatine, fine, but their organs or muscles can't receive it. And the symptoms are kind of cognitive delays, developmental delays, epileptic, low tonal. So it's just failure to thrive. So and there's no treatment for it yet.
And how, if people want to help you, how would you recommend they reach out? Like message on Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, you can message me on Instagram. You can go to creatineinfo.org, which is the nonprofit that is the primary funder for research. And there's more on my website too, legacy831.com.
Okay. Wow. After we watched the finale together for the first time last night, I started going through Twitter and social media, just trying to see some of the reactions of what people thought.
Well, before you read them off, have you been reading social media, keeping up with it?
Yeah.
Only messages, so I don't know like what.
Have you read the Beast Game subreddit or anything? Oh, wow.
Have you?
Well, of course. Yeah, I want to see what they think of everything.
Yeah. That's actually really, what have you seen that stuck out?
The stuff I said before, more skill-based, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. So you don't read Twitter or search your name on the
internet? I do, but I haven't done it since, I mean, the last 24 hours have been a little crazy.
Yeah, you should search 831 on Twitter.
Yeah. All right.
It's overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, it's very positive.
Here's a comment I thought just summed up everything I saw when I was researching. Quote, and I'll put this on screen. Tears as I watched the Beast Games finale, episode 10. The winner was well deserved, and I'm glad the contestants didn't leave with nothing. Great show. W wrote W all around.
Yeah.
What are your first plans with the $10 million?
First, I got to figure out how much, taxes I would owe.
Yes. Please pay your taxes.
I wouldn't.
Please.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
We sent the full $10 million. It's on him. Please pay the taxes.
Oh yeah, you don't do withdrawals before.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad, because so I have the pretty screenshot of the $10 million. But it's scary because he owes a lot in taxes. Sometimes to help out people, we withhold it and pay the taxes for him, but we sent the full money.
Yeah.
Pay the taxes.
Yeah.
Don't go to jail.
Of course.
Just like I got it. April 15th, we're all good. Yeah.
And so, for me, it's finding projects that we can fund to help find kind of a cure. And again, a cure is going to take time. It takes finding a technology or a therapy that works, and then you got to put it through clinical trials. So there's some awesome stuff going on at Stanford and some places in Canada too. And we're going to find out which projects are best to fund and try to get some stuff rolling.
Love it. We talked quite a few times after the finale taping and tonight about just preparing yourself for how, you know, the world would react to finding out that you won the $10 million. Could you talk about some of the things you did to get ready and take this opportunity and ride the momentum?
Obviously the X's and O's, you know, talking to attorneys, couples counseling, you know, like really making sure that we're prepared as a team, but also just kind of recommitting to who do I want to be, you know. They say kind of money doesn't change you, but it definitely brings out who you are. And so for me, it's, you know, I want my ultimate drive of why I believe I won was because I wanted to receive the prize so that I can share it. And for me, sharing it means helping kids like Lucas. So hold me to it, you know, and I want to be that person who's going to make a difference for kids like Lucas.
Are you going to quit your job?
Yeah, you won't see me in a W-2 again.
Was there anything that you bought or you spent knowing that the 10 million was coming, or you just played it conservatively until you saw the wire?
Pretty conservative. We went on a vacation. My kids had never gone to a beach vacation, even though we live in California. So we did a beach vacation over Christmas, and Lucas had a blast. We did swim lessons up until that, so he was much better prepared. And it was nice knowing that we had it, but we couldn't share it. It's a weird thing when it's happened, but it hasn't happened. Yeah. And I'm sure you have that all the time with your challenges.
Yeah. Like knowing it's coming, but it not being there, and so you have to like, yeah.
I think Cruz said something to my wife after the finale. He's like, she looked at me and she goes, "What just happened?" And Cruz was like, "Nothing happened yet. In 5 months, it will happen."
Okay. One thing that we learned about you afterwards is that you're a professional poker player.
Ooh, like how professional we talk?
Yeah, how professional, yeah. And did that play into the games?
As professional as, that is not true.
Oh, wow.
So that was a joke that landed so bad that they thought it was true.
Oh, wow.
I thought you were. I believe it.
And so this is a shout out to Cato. Cato, I don't know when he got out in the games, but he was a professional poker player. So when we were having this conversation with Gage and Tawana, I said, "Oh yeah, when I used to be a professional poker player," something to that extent. And like they believed it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." So I was a horrible gambler, like horrible gambler. I haven't placed a bet in 10 years. So like,
thank God.
For me, yeah. So for me to be a professional poker player is like hysterical, especially to all my friends, because I was never good.
I'm really thinking back to this moment where you had the families come out, and Jeff, seeing you with your family for the first time on set, what did that spark in you? Like, what did that reignite? Because it seemed to have an effect. A bunch of people mentioned it during the top 10.
Yeah, my family means the world to me, and I've never gone 30 days and not talked to my wife, and I love spending time with my kids, and like, I always thought it was cliche, like, oh, like the best day of my life was when my kids were born, until your kids are born and you realize it is. That was right up there with it. When they came around the corner and I saw my son and I hear him say my name, and then I see my wife and like she's looking at me like she's so proud of me. It was literally the best night of my life, like top 5 best nights of my life. And in typical Jimmy fashion, they walk around the corner this way, we go into a challenge, and again, I think it's one of the reasons why you see me kind of get a little fired up that night, was I was just, the emotions of that night were beautifully scripted. Bravo.
And shout out to them for not saying, "Come home, we miss you."
No, they were, my wife was super supportive, like literally, we had, like, she's like, "Just letting you know, like, if you have a chance to call me for a bribe, I'm not gonna answer."
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and I told her, like, when I signed up for it, I'm like, "Hey, this is gonna be an awesome platform for Lucas. Like, I'm gonna be able to tell the world about creatine transport efficiency if I go far enough." She goes, "Screw that." She goes, "If you're signing up, you better win this thing." And that changed my whole mindset.
Yeah. I'll give you guys the final word. I'm so grateful that this happened. I texted Jimmy, I'm like, so much happened on the show, we got to do a reunion.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we did. I feel like the viewers will like having like a little bit more knowledge on certain things that happen, closure on a lot of other things, and then just getting to hear him talk more and everything. Like this will be perfect, and because after episode 10, whenever this goes up in a month, like it will autoplay for all the new people watching it. So it'll just be like a great way to like close endings on watching the show. So I'm very glad we did it.
Yeah. Jeff, any final words from you? Anything that you want to share with the world, your family, your cause?
My plan is to kind of put the rubber to the road. You know, I'm going to ruck from the Nevada border all the way to the coast of California in the next few weeks to try to raise more awareness for CTD and for Lucas. I'm going to start on the Nevada border of California, and we're going to go 365 miles all the way to Santa Barbara area. So 1 mile for each day that Lucas has to suffer with CTD.
So 14 basically marathons.
More than that, but yeah, we'll have to do a marathon a day for 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Give it up one more time for Jeff.
Hey, brother. Hey, meet the world. Can't wait to catch up. I'll tell you more.
Thanks to T-Mobile, who knows a thing or two about keeping people connected, we have $60,000 up for grabs and a quick game to end out the night. What we're gonna do, we're gonna have you guys come up here, I believe, and then we're gonna put a cup over there.
Yep.
And then you'll each get a shot, kind of like in episode 2, and everyone who lands it in the cup will split the 60 grand. Thanks to T-Mobile. If you want.
Oh. Oh.
Here it is. Come on, T.
Yeah, 20 apiece now. Damn, only 3 people made that? Dino. Yeah, man. Shout out to Dino. Fuck that fat bitch. She pissed me off.